Hi everybody. I want to talk to you today about the ketogenic diet. I've had lots of requests to just do a basic educational video instead of just jumping right into advanced ketogenics, and so we're going to do Keto 101 today. So basically what a ketogenic diet is when you convert your fuel from carbohydrate to fat, to healthy fat. So right now, most of you eat a standard American diet, and this means that your fuel source is carbohydrate. So when you eat carbohydrate, your pancreas has to release insulin in order for that molecule to be able to get into your cell and provide fuel. Insulin causes inflammation, and it is the underlying issue in most illnesses and so many different conditions. And so when you convert to a ketogenic diet, your fuel source changes to healthy fat. And the byproduct of fat metabolism is ketones, ketone bodies. And your body will produce 3 different ones, and one is the major source of your fuel. And we'll talk a little bit about that later. So essentially what you have to do in order to get your body fat adapted is you have to eat a diet that is at least 70% healthy fat. And this seems very challenging, but in actuality, it's not really that difficult. And healthy fats are super yummy, and there are thousands and thousands of recipes out there for not only healthy meals, but desserts too. So if you're thinking, I can't do without chocolate, you don't have to, and we'll talk about that at a later time. Lots of things that I want to explain to you guys. So what do I have to do to get into ketosis? Well, ketosis is a state that your body gets into where your body is actually using ketone bodies for fuel. And the way that you know you're in ketosis is you have to measure it. You have to measure your blood. We'll talk about other ways to measure ketosis, but the measurement through blood is actually really the only efficient way to know for sure. And that's what I like so much about this diet, is it's measurable. So you know exactly what you're doing. You know how good you're practicing the diet, and you know what your benefits are. And we'll talk about the benefits of a ketogenic diet as well. So in our body, when we eat more carbohydrate than we need, what our body does is store the excess. How much does your body really need? Only about 5%. And carbohydrate is a non-essential macronutrient. In other words, your body can manufacture it. You don't have to eat it ever. Your body can break down fat, and and it can build glucose molecules, and so you don't have to ever eat carbohydrate or sugar. Your body can make it. And your brain does need a little bit of carbohydrate, but your brain functions much better, as do the rest of your organs, with fatty fuel. And so, and we'll talk a little bit about that. So what you have to start doing is you have to start eliminating your carbohydrate, and you have to replace that with healthy fats. And I'll give you some resources. One of my favorite websites out there that explains the foods you need to eat and why you need to eat those foods. It's called ruledme.com, RULEDME, ruledme.com. And I'll just give you one example. When it comes to healthy oils, avocado and coconut oil, olive oil, these are the healthiest oils for you. However, you don't want to cook with olive oil because it has a low smoke point. So if you heat it up, I think more than about 160 degrees, it actually becomes unstable and it loses its beneficial properties in your body. So you want to use olive oil just to drizzle over your food. You want to use coconut oil and avocado oil to cook because they have higher smoke points, and you can heat them up to really hot temperatures, and they maintain their beneficial properties and they stay stable in your body. So it's important to know why you're eating the specific foods that are on this diet. And not only is this diet about food, but it's about eliminating preservatives. It's about eliminating toxins that come in foods that we eat. So the whole concept really is to go farm to table. So we want to have whole foods that we prepare. We don't want to eat things out of packages for the most part, because they have preservatives, and most things in packages have high amounts of carbohydrate. There's lots of ketogenic products that you will see out there that aren't really ketogenic at all. And so what is a true ketogenic food? So a true ketogenic food is one that you can eat that will still maintain a level of ketosis for you. And so if you eat something and it drops you out of ketosis or drops you down a level, which there are 3, we'll talk about that too, then it really isn't a ketogenic product. So in order for you to know what's happening, you have to, again, test yourself so that you know what your body's doing and if you're staying in that level of ketosis. So there are 3 levels of ketosis. The first level is 0.5 to 1.5, and this is measured in milliosmoles per liter in your body. And again, you check that by measuring blood, just like you would if you were checking glucose. And in fact, the same meter can check both, can check your glucose level and your ketone level. And that glucose level is important to check if you're a cancer patient, because you're going to want to have a very low glucose level and you want to have a high level of ketosis. And then you want to calculate what we call a GKI, glucose ketone index, so that it's below a level where cancer can't live. You want to create an environment in your body where cancer can't live, and that's really the biggest benefit, one of the biggest benefits of a ketogenic diet. And I'll do a whole lecture on that for those of you like me who are either cancer survivors or cancer patients. And I'll give you all the benefits of that. But in the meantime, you can just go Google keto and cancer, and you're going to get a plethora of information, and that'll be a good place for you to start. So if you really want to, if you want to do a ketogenic diet, the first thing you have to understand is what your goal is. Lots of people want to do a keto diet for the specific goal of losing weight, which is a great goal, but I'll just say this. This is not the best diet to do if your goal is simply weight loss. You can eat any kind of a diet you want and lose weight as long as you just control your calorie intake. Caloric restriction is key for that. And the reason I say this is because a ketogenic diet it's a way of living, it's a lifestyle. And if you're doing it just to lose weight, then once you lose the weight, if you go back to eating a standard American diet, chances are you're just going to regain that weight. Unless you practice caloric restriction, that weight's going to come right back. And because of that, it really doesn't matter, what kind of a diet you pick to lose weight. If your goal is to lose weight, you need to pick a diet that you're going to be able to live with and that you're going to be able to practice indefinitely, because that's the goal of weight loss, is to manage your diet in a way that makes you happy in life. You have to be able to eat food you like to eat, and you have to be able to eat the right amount of calories too. And so if your goal is weight loss, I'm just going to discourage you from a ketogenic diet unless you want to continue to practice a keto diet. I happen to love all the foods on a keto diet. And there's so many just wonderful recipes. If you cook, to me, that's the easiest way to be successful at this diet. But I will say this, the biggest thing that will create success with any diet is going to be to journal your food. So if you're not counting your calories, if you're not writing down what you're eating and tallying up those calories, then you really don't have any idea what you're doing. You won't know. I've had so many people tell me over the past few years, I'm doing everything I can do and I'm still not losing weight. You're not doing everything you can do. You can lose weight eating cake every day. If you just eat 800 calories of cake, you're going to lose weight. You won't be healthy, and I'm not recommending you do that, but I'm just saying, if you want to lose weight, you can do it. And you can do it with just simple caloric restriction. But if you do it with a keto diet, you're going to be super healthy. And the better you practice this diet, the more benefits you're going to reap. And so when we measure our levels of ketosis at a very basic level of 0.5 to 1.5, this will get you weight loss, it will get you mental clarity, it will improve your focus and your concentration, it will give you energy, and it will eliminate your need for as much sleep, and it will improve your performance. If we go to level 2, and level 2 is 1.5 to 3.0, this level starts to allow more health benefits. You start to gain increased performance values. You start to improve illnesses. One of the biggest illnesses that it improves with this diet is type 2 diabetes. Type 1 as well, but you have to be careful with type 1 because of the insulin requirement. And so if you are a type 1 diabetic and you're interested in this diet, you really need to be monitored by a specialist so that they can help you with it, because this diet is very efficient at decreasing your insulin need and the amount of insulin that's required. And so if you're not careful, you can bottom yourself out and you can go into a hypoglycemic crisis, and we don't want that to happen. So in any case, there are so many different disease processes that will benefit from this diet, and I'll talk about that at some point. If we get to level 3 of ketosis, this is what we call therapeutic ketosis. And therapeutic ketosis is a level of 3.0 or higher. And at this level, all of your organ systems start to function much better. You get an efficiency in brain performance, in cardiac performance, in renal performance. All of your organ systems start to improve. Your triglycerides are going to come down significantly, which most people are confused about that. Why would your lipids, your fat values, why would they decrease if you're eating such a large percentage of fat? It's because that fat is being broken down and utilized for fuel. And what is in excess, if you're eating more than what you need, your body does not store it. It just eliminates it. And so if you're on a ketogenic diet, your body isn't storing anything extra. Whereas under a standard American diet, your body is storing all the carbohydrate over about 5%, and most people eat upwards of 60% carbs in their diet. So you're talking about 55% of your diet is being stored in the form of fat tissue. Fat tissue, it's stored as glycogen in your muscles and in your liver. And so whenever you transition from a standard American diet to ketosis, there are some things that you have to understand about that, because it can make you feel, you will feel bad at first. We call this keto flu. Some people experience symptoms similar to a flu-like illness. And the reason for that is because your body is basically detoxing. It is eliminating all the carbohydrate stores that are in your body, and where sugar goes, water goes. So you'll get a little bit dehydrated, and you're going to need some supplementation, and I'll try to do a separate little talk about that. But the basic supplements that you need to consider are going to be magnesium, potassium, and sodium. Most people don't get enough of all three of those, and it's very difficult to get a high level of potassium in food. Mushrooms are a great source of that, but it's, not many people want to eat a whole load of mushrooms. And we'll talk about supplements too. I'll take you into my cabinet and just show you what I have in there, and we'll talk about this diet in depth. I'm just going to go through a lot of beginner ketogenic diet issues for you guys, so that those of you who really want to learn about it can understand what it is you're doing, because it's really important to know what you're doing, what you're putting into your body, and why you're making those choices. So I hope this has been helpful. I'll put out another video soon. I had to cycle out of ketosis for a few weeks, which is why I haven't been online with you guys. My body mass index dropped below 18, and when that happens, if I get less than 105 pounds or my BMI is too low, It's unhealthy to stay in ketosis, so you have to cycle out, carb load, have to gain some weight, and so I'm finally back up to my 105, and I'm about to cycle back into ketosis, and I thought this would be a good time to do our Keto 101 together so you can see that process of cycling in. And I think that'll be an interesting journey for you guys. It's certainly fun for me. This is something that I'm so passionate about. I just love to talk about it, and I certainly hope that if you're interested, you stay with me and you get yourself into ketosis and you start reaping those benefits, because they are huge. You're gonna feel great, you're gonna look great, and you're gonna be so proud of yourself. All right, guys, I hope you have a happy weekend. I hope you have a blessed Saturday, and I'll be in touch.